Hi, you guys. Welcome back, and welcome to anybody who is new. My name is Natalka, and you have found my channel, Cooking with Natalka. So today I have a fantastic recipe. I am not over my whole bread phase. I still have two more that I want to make. So the first one being brown bread. This is a maritime classic, and almost anywhere you go, or whenever you go out to dinner at a friend's place who's a maritimer and they have baked beans, you're almost always guaranteed to have brown bread sitting right next to it. So that's what I'm going to be showing you guys today, is brown bread. Now, my next one, not as in my next video, but my next bread recipe that I am just dying to try is pumpernickel. And with that one, I think I'll end up making a spinach dip with it, but that's for a later video. Just wanted to let you guys know I'm not over the bread phase. Two more to go. So let's get started today and make some brown bread. All right, let's get started. So in a bowl, you're going to add 2 cups of oatmeal with 1 cup of molasses. Then you're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. And you're also going to add 2 cups of boiling water. You're going to mix it all together, and then you're just going to let it sit. The butter will melt and everything will start to cool. Give it a mix every so often just to make sure the butter is melting and getting mixed in. All right, so let it cool. It'll probably take at least 10 minutes. You want it to come down to approximately 110 degrees Fahrenheit. While your oatmeal is cooling, you're going to get your dry ingredients ready. So in another bowl, I'm adding 3.5 cups of white flour with 2.5 cups of whole wheat flour and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Then I'm just going to whisk that together to mix the salt in and mix the 2 flours together, and then set this aside. All right, so now I'm going to get the yeast ready. In a small bowl, I'm adding 1/2 cup of warm water. It's 110 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of honey. You can use either sugar or honey. I prefer honey. Give that a little mix, and then once that's mixed in, you're going to add 2¼ teaspoons of yeast. Again, you're just going to mix that just a little bit, and then you're going to set it aside for about 10 minutes until it blooms. It'll get bubbly and foamy, and then you know it's ready. All right, so I'm ready to combine everything. So I'm going to take the oatmeal first, and I'm putting it into a larger bowl because this one is too small. And then I'm going to add in the yeast, and as you can see, it is all foamy, and I'm just going to gently mix that into the oatmeal mixture. Now I'm going to add the flour in, but I'm going to do this really slowly, and I'm only going to add in a little bit at a time. I would say about a cup at a time, something like that. I'm not really measuring. And just folding it into all the wet ingredients. And I'm just going to keep doing this until all the flour has been added to this bowl. I can't say mixed in because it doesn't fully mix in. As you can see at the end of me mixing the flour in, there's still a lot of flour in the bowl. So what I'm going to do is just use that flour, dump it all out onto my table, and instead of flouring my table, I'm going to use the flour that's still in the bowl. So I'm not adding extra flour into the bread. At least not yet. All right, so now I'm ready to start kneading the dough. And as you can see, I'm still working with just the flour that was in the bowl. I haven't added any more. But the dough itself is really sticky right now. So it's going to take a bit of work to get it to that smooth, elasticy consistency that bread should be. So I'm just going to slowly work it in. And as I work in all the flour that is on my table, and I realize that it's still sticky, I am going to add more flour into it. But I'm only going to add a little bit as I need it, like to keep my hand from getting too sticky, to keep the bread from sticking on the table. And I'm just going to mix it in until I get the right consistency, which is supposed to be a smooth dough that has some elasticity to it. We'll see how this actually turns out. So I am using a whole wheat flour to do this. I decided on whole wheat instead of using white flour. So my dough is at the right consistency now, and it feels like I've been kneading this for like 10 minutes. I am now going to take it and put it into a greased bowl. I just took a little bit of olive oil, wiped it around the bowl. I'm going to put the bread in it, cover it, and I'm going to let it rise for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. All right, so the dough has been rising for about an hour. It's been rising for 2 hours. So I'm putting it on a lightly floured work surface. I'm just going to knead it a little bit and make sure it's not too sticky for me to handle. Then I'm going to cut it in half so that it makes 2 loaves of bread. I'm going to shape it into like oblong shapes, and then I'm going to put these into 2 bread loaf pans. That sounded super awkward. Anyway, into loaf pans. Each pan is lightly greased with some olive oil. So I'm going to put them in there, squish them down just a little bit, and then I'm going to cover them, and I'm going to let them rise again for about another hour. They should rise up and over, not like spilling over the edges of your pans, but that bread shape with the nice sort of dome top. That's what you're looking for. So it'll take about an hour to rise. After an hour of rising, this is what they look like. So like I said, they're not spilling over the top, but they did rise up. So I preheated the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I baked these for, I would say about 45 minutes, but depending on your oven, it could be between 45 minutes to an hour. And when they come out, this is what they look like. They look amazing. One way to tell when your bread is done is when you tap on them, they should sound hollow. Now my camera didn't pick up the sound, so it's kind of hard to show you guys. This bread turned out so soft. It is amazing. It cuts beautifully. The crust has a nice color. It's a good texture. This turned out fantastic. Definitely give this one a try. All right, you guys, we're into summer, and this house is so hot right now, and making anything in the oven just makes it even hotter in here. And I feel like I am dying of heat. So, I don't know how many more bread recipes I'm actually going to be making, or oven recipes, because this is ridiculously hot. And here in the Maritimes, it doesn't just get hot, it gets muggy and sticky, and wow. Don't bake bread in the summer. Not a good idea. All right, so here's how it turned out. Amazing. Come on, you guys knew I was going to say amazing. It is soft, pillowy. Well, okay, not pillowy, but like really soft and tender. It's a little more dense than I would like. Usually it's a little bit more like a roll texture, like a little fluffier. But I probably needed it just a little bit too much, trying to get that smooth, elasticy texture. But that's okay, because it still turned out, it rised beautifully. I got that nice dome on my bread. It's an even cook, not burnt. I think it turned out perfect. I really do. And I like putting just a little bit of butter on it and eating it this way. I don't really need anything else on it. I don't like baked beans, so I don't dip mine into baked beans. I just eat it with some butter. It has a beautiful texture to it. It's a little chewy, it's soft, it's moist, not too moist. It is a little dry. It's got that nice balance to it. I think it turned out fantastic. My husband loves to put some molasses on top of it. I like some peanut butter or just butter. Anyway, it's a fantastic recipe, and you guys should really give it a try because brown bread is so good. So that was my bread recipe. I do have another one coming. I am probably going to make it on a day that it is rainy and not so hot because I can't stand this. They say if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Well, I'm getting out of this kitchen right after this because it's too hot in here. All right, so thank you for watching. Remember to hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, do all that wonderful stuff. Check out all my links. And I have, oh my gosh, before I forget, I have some fantastic news. So I don't know how many of you actually know, I have a golden doodle and I love him. And him and I go on so many adventures. And I have finally published my children's book. I wrote a children's book about Max's adventures. I will post the link in the description and please go check it out. I am so proud of it. I wrote my very first children's book and I'm looking forward to writing more about them. Anyway, that was some fun news, some exciting news that's going on with me and I just had to share it. Okay, that's it for today. See you guys all next week. Thanks for watching.